Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November meeting of the Oak Hills Park Authority. First item on the agenda is the call to order. So I will call the roll, and as I call your name, if you just either raise your hand or say here. So Alan Dutton is here. Denise Brown.
Here.
Gary Leeds.
Here.
Richard Dellinger.
Here.
Jennifer McAllister.
Here.
Mary Verrill.
Here.
TJ Trimboli.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Thank you all very much. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes. Could I have someone to move to accept the minutes, please?
So moved.
Gary Leeds moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Was that TJ? TJ to second?
It was. I did.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Having looked through the minutes, does anybody see any errors or omissions or changes? I see a couple that I would just start with, if I may. So on the first page, page 1, we have Jim Shell as described as others. He's not really others. I think he's staff. So we should move Jim Shell up to under staff. Also on page 1 under chair, it said Mr. Dutton reported on recent activities at Oak Hills Park. He noticed the receipt of 7 responses to a request for proposal for tennis court resurfacing. I don't think it's tennis court resurfacing we're doing. So the tennis court should read tennis center operations for the tennis center. So that's one change I saw on page 1. Looking through on page 4, under I didn't really understand what it said. It said, Mr. Gardner reported on financial matters, noting revenue exceeded budget by 4% through September, driven by strong green fees up 11%, cart rentals up 8%, and it said, and range fees up by 5% through, though trail field fees were down 3%.
I just looked at that right before the meeting started, and I don't have my paperwork from last month, so I have no idea what that means. That is not what I said.
Okay, so we will just delete the and range fees up 5%, though trail fees were down 3%. So we will deduct that from the minutes. I think that actually makes sense.
What's a trail fee?
Precisely, I have no
You
idea.
got me.
Probably, well, we should charge people to go around the nature trail. I'm sure Mary would like that. Are there any other errors or omissions or changes any committee member would like to make at this time?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
In the attendees, wasn't Paul at the meeting or was he absent?
No, he was not at the meeting.
Okay, well, it doesn't say either way. So should it say that he was not in attendance?
I don't think we say that, to be honest with you. We just say those that are in attendance, I think.
It's changed over the years. We have had a case where we have an absent area, but not all the time.
Okay, so if that's not important, we'll just go on. There's in John Loy's report, I don't know if this word is the correct word, but on the 3rd paragraph down, the 4th line down, no, I'm sorry, the 3rd line down, it says emails in January with menus and policies on donated alcohol and concessions. Is donated the correct word?
Yes.
It is donated?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And in the tennis report, it's about, it's 16 lines down, but it says during the day off, it says of the Global Out tournament. It should be of the Arthur Goblat tournament.
Okay.
And those were my corrections.
Denise, I had a question actually. When I looked at your report, was the number correct with generating $50,000 for grassroots? Is that what that was?
Well, yes, Grassroots took in about $50,000 for their autumn classic, which was mostly all donated money and also player fees for what they charged the players. They charged the players to play in the tournament. I think it's $100 per player. So I think there were 80 players. And so that was that money plus donated fees combined.
All right. Yeah, I just want to check it. Thanks. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Are there any other errors, omissions, or changes? Okay, there being none, based upon the changes that we've just spoken about, all those in favor of the acceptance of the minutes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any dissension? Any nays? Any abstentions? The minutes are passed as changed. Item 4 on the agenda, public participation. James, is there anybody in the waiting room? Anybody with their hand up for public participation? Jim, you there? You're on mute.
Excuse me, no one with a hand up.
No one with a hand up. Okay, public participation is closed. Item number 5 on the agenda is the reports. So I have just 2 or 3 things. I just wanted to, it's not on the agenda, but I just wanted to give an update on the Golf Pro Search update committee. We have basically put together a committee, and we're in the process. In fact, we have completed the request for proposal and the job descriptions. That has been completed, and we will be working with the City of Norwalk, as we've done with the tennis program and with the restaurant program, and they'll be helping us with this process. So we've had a lot of good meetings, some spirited meetings. We've referred the document to legal. We've actually reached out to a lot of our members to see if they knew anybody who's interested, and there's a link. There will be a link on the City of Norwalk website. We've been working with the PGA, the Metropolitan PGA, and they've looked at it and they've also said it's all signed off. So we are pretty much good to go on that, and the RFP will be going out very shortly. Later on in the meeting, under old business, we're going to be voting on capital increasing the capital expense budget for this coming year. We've had a couple of things come up, so that is good. It's not on the agenda, but it's going to be coming up under old business. You did receive something in the mail. We will be discussing it under old business. And Denise will give us an update on the tennis choice program, where we are at this moment in time. We've had quite a few interviews. We did interview a lot of people, and we've come up with some candidates, some finalists. We will actually, we are tabling the actual contract recommendation because we just have a little more work to do. So we will table that, and at our next meeting, we will actually have a contract for you to approve with the chosen vendor. So that's just another update, and I think that is all I have under Chairman's remarks. Next item on the agenda is John Lloyd, but I don't see John here. So I guess we will not have a report from John Lloyd. Under reports C, next we have Nature Advisory, Mary Verrill. Mary, take it away.
Okay. Several things. We're still waiting to hear from the Two Roads grant program. We haven't heard anything yet. I thought we'd hear in November, but we haven't. So I don't know. It doesn't right now. I probably think we didn't get it. However, we did get a Goodman Foundation grant. I'm not sure how much yet, but we did get somewhere in the vicinity of, I think, $4,000, which will help a lot towards the food forest project. We're beginning to put the leaves down. And Jim, if you want to put your leaves over there, you know, I don't know where you put your leaves, but we're trying to fill up over there on the sides of the the Great Lawn there so we can start to prepare for the food forest because it's just a massive it's terrible invasives there. So
Yeah,
the
I saw him yesterday, I believe, and he said he's going to be coming for a couple weeks still with.
yeah. Well, we can use all the wood chips and leaves we can get because
Keep that in mind.
it's a mess over there. You don't have any big equipment that could plow down some of that nasty
Spread it
stuff.
out, you mean?
Well, no, just some of the nasty invasives
Oh,
there.
yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah, maybe in the winter we could start to,
scrape
look
it
at that.
away.
Yeah.
We can try to do that. Yep.
And thanks to Mark. Mark is starting to do a number on the vines behind the dumpsters there. It's a little plot and it's quite doable. So we're starting with the vines and then we're gonna just take everything down and then we're gonna smother everything with a foot or two of wood chips and leaves and things and start to prepare for the food forest. So that's exciting. Um,
I just
the
wanted to say that I did 45 minutes of hard labor outside, and Jim, I'm not coming for your job, so I'm good as an accountant, working inside and climate
Mark,
control. Yeah,
I wasn't worried.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good to get your hands dirty once in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we're very appreciative of that. And anytime anybody wants to go over there and do battle with the vines, take out frustrations, feel free. Um, we're doing that monthly. We're trying to do a monthly event. And last month we had a very successful walk and talk with Sarah Cruz. And this month on November 29th, we're doing a forest bathing event. We thought after Thanksgiving, this would be an excellent time to just stop and take a breather and de-stress and such. So from 11 to 12 on the 29th, which is a Saturday after Thanksgiving, Bill Wren is running a forest bathing event, and we'll get. Did you get the flyer from Audrey, Mark, or Jim? Because we want to spread that around. We want to spread that around to as many people as we can. And
Mary,
Audrey
when
finished
is
it.
that gonna be?
It's the 29th. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
And what
And
time?
it's at 11 o'clock till 12, and it's a forest bathing. If you haven't been to a forest bathing event, it's very calming and centering and de-stressing. It's quite lovely. It's quite lovely. So anyway, we're gonna do that, and then we're talking about doing educational talks. And I understand that it's too bad John isn't here because I would really like to talk to John. Odeen's is closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we might be able to use the space to run our educational thing. And also that would be a good way to bring people in and to introduce them to Odeen. So I think it would be a win-win. So our first educational seminar will be probably in January. We'll probably skip December because of the holidays and everything. But in January, we'll do a talk with an advanced master gardener on composting. So that's very exciting. So that's John Floyd, educational events, composting. Oh, the other thing that Sarah Cruz and her interns offered while they were here last month was that we're going to do what we call a bio blitz, and it's like citizen science, and we engage, the community and such. And we're going to go into our woods and we're gonna try to catalog what's in there, so we can see what's in our woods and catalog it and get it online. And the interns are going to help us with this. They're also helping us with the social media, putting our events and such out on social media. So that's very exciting. I don't know if this is possible, but one of the things that was suggested that we should look into is having the contractors bring their wood chips and bring them to our great lawn area there. I don't know if that's a doable thing or not to work with the city. I want to talk to Robert about that and see if that's a doable thing, because
Mm.
that's the other thing that once we get the invasives cut down and plowed down, then we want to suffocate them in like a foot of wood chips, and then with leaves on top, and then on top of that you put the soil, and that's what preps the area for the planting. So we want to see what we can do about that. That's about what I know. But we're moving forward, and it's very exciting.
Mary, just a point on your Saturday event. How many people are you anticipating, and where do you want them to park?
Well, we usually meet, in the parking lot behind Odin's. So we're meeting in the back of the restaurant, and then we'll walk over to the trail. It's usually we had about 25 people at the last event. So,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell, because we're gonna just post it on social media and post it wherever we can and see who shows up.
Okay. Hey,
Mary,
Jim and
Mary, if you want, I'll send the flyer around to all the board members so they just know that flyer
Yeah.
should go all of them, and I'll send it around because I have it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, anybody who gets it, send it to everybody and all the sites that you have, and see how many people we get.
I'm just concerned because the course is closed that day for an event, and whether the event should not be parking up in the upper lot.
What kind of event is that?
They have an outing, so they're supposed to be 80 people.
Okay. Well,
Um,
this is from 11 to 12, so it's an hour. So I have a feeling we
their
can.
their event's a shotgun starting at 10:30.
Okay.
Jim Holiday, can you handle that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Mary, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is ideal for Odin's, and I think if you talk to John, they're not using it, and we could just have it accessible. I'm sure that would probably work for you as well, so that'd be good.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, and then that will, people will get used to Odin's also,
Sure.
and so we'll encourage that also.
Any questions for Mary? There being none, Mary, thank you for your report.
Okay.
Next report, D, tennis. Denise.
Hello, everybody. So our courts have been closed down as of today. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Jim, for getting that accomplished. Nice that they're going to be closed and quiet because it's getting cold now anyway. I know we might have a few good days, but that's besides the point. And as Alan said, we're moving right along with the RFP for the tennis. We're down to 2 selections. We will be meeting again next Tuesday, and so we'll be able to probably have a lot more information for our December meeting. And we will be working for getting the contract so that will be ready for review and are proposed at that point for December 18th. So that's kind of our deadline number or date that we're working for. Let's see, we met with the Friends of Tennis. We had a good meeting. We are not asking for any annual donations this year. We're just going to reach out and let people donate to their, if they want to make a donation to their, of choice, whatever they would like to do. Of course, if they would like to donate to the supporters, it's always welcome. So that would be nice. We do have rules or guidelines for rules that we put together at our meeting. Alan, would you like us to get them to you so you can review them?
Need to take a look, but I obviously leave it to you. You're the experts, but I'll take a look by all means. That'd be fine.
Just
Thank
to
you.
know if you would like to review them, just so you could have, just so you can see where we're
Sure,
going.
sure.
It's nothing that's not unusual, it's just sort of etiquette on the courts and with people coming to
Be
play.
nice. Be nice.
Yeah, be nice, be kind, be nice, right? No dogs. That seems to be our biggest frustrating issue. And we all, a lot of us have dogs, but no dogs are allowed for sure. We are gonna be planning in January to have our Australian Open event. We're just trying to pick a day, and that'll be at O'Dean's. We had a nice event last year. A lot of people showed up. But otherwise, I think things are kind of quiet on the tennis front.
So with the event in January, just be sure to check with Jim, because we may be closing the restaurant space down for a couple of weeks to put the air conditioning units in, all things being equal. So just
Okay.
a heads up, just to check on that, Denise, okay?
Okay, good to know. All right, we'll definitely work with Jim on that and see what the story is.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Any questions for Denise? Okay, there being none, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number E, supporters of Oak Hills. Jerry Crowley. Jerry, always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure to see all of you guys. The Mark was good enough to give me a mid-year summary. So right now, there's a total of, or there was at the end of the third quarter, $30,857.57. The bulk of that is made up in restricted cash, which is probably the tennis, and that's $26,247.65. And the unrestricted cash is available if somebody has a good idea how to spend it. $4,609.92. So if you'd like more details on that, just let me know, and I'll give them to you.
Jerry, can I ask the difference between the restricted and unrestricted?
Yeah, when people give like to tennis, they'll say for use of tennis, then that becomes restricted to tennis.
Okay.
And
So-
Rich, if you just give a general donation, it goes into what I set up as a general fund, which is unrestricted. We can use that. We could use that for tennis. We could use it for nature. We could use it for the course, anything.
Got it. Thanks.
Any other questions for Jerry? Jerry, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Item F on the agenda is long-term planning. Gary Lees.
Okay, I think we're really, or I'm really waiting for the first tee and the tennis new concessionaire to be identified and put together before we kind of move that into motion. However, Jim Holiday and Jim Shell are working on Holiday on structures and Jim on the golf course to look at what our long-term capital needs are going to be there. So that's kind of my report.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions for Gary on long-range planning? Being none, we will move to our staff reports now. Obviously, Paul is no longer with us, so we have no golf report at this time. We'll move to Superintendent Jim Shell. Jim, take it away.
All right. The course is looking pretty good going into the winter. It's cleaned up nicely the last few days. The crew has been pretty great at leaf removal. We're getting through it without a ton of damage. We've been lucky enough to not have massive rains when the course doesn't dry so well in the colder weather. The bunker construction is finished. They're all roped off and they're gonna knit in over the winter. The roots are gonna take, and they look great. He did a very good job. His crew was tops. They were very neat and quick. They are off the property. Everything is done. And if you remember last month, we were game planning about where they were going to start, and they did all that work in less than a month. It's terrific. The tee at 11 has been shifted over to help golfers aim a little further to the right instead of trying to cut the corner so easily. That's the purpose of that, is to help to prevent people on the tennis courts getting bombarded with golf balls. Hopefully that works. Greens aeration is done. The crew, again, my crew, we had a couple of wet days that we had to do that work, and they did a great job. They had no complaints staying until it was all done. I'm not usually big on overtime with my guys, but they had no trouble. They had no problem staying and helping us finish. And we're starting to wrap up some projects, getting ready to move on to some others, and everything looks great.
Always like to hear it when the superintendent says everything looks great.
Except for the money.
Especially for the rain. Thank you.
Jim, I have two issues. One, what are the footsteps behind you in that photograph, by the way?
That is the footsteps of an average foursome on a green.
Ah.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, that looks very interesting. And I just want to let you know, I did send a picture out of the work of the tee on 11 to
Yep.
tennis friends, and I got several people just absolutely thrilled that the authority took some steps to move that tee over a little bit. So thank you very much for doing that.
Good.
Hey, Jim, can I ask a question on so now that we're aiming more to the right, all right, are we going to increase the fairway area?
Yes.
Woods, and we're going to raise up some of that territory? We got to put a fill in there?
You know, there was a crappy looking drain on the right edge of the
Right.
fairway.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
One of the extra jobs that the construction crew did was fix that up so that this coming season we'll be able to mow that grass down and have a little extra fairway on the right hand side.
Okay. That's good. I just want to know.
Okay. Any further questions for Jim? Jim, thank you. I think that I haven't inspected the bunkers, but I've driven past them quite a few times, and they do look really good. So it's always good to have a good contractor as well, which we could recommend to other courses. Thank you very much.
And
Item I on our next reports is our controller, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Alan. As you can see from my report, we had another good month and another good year. October, the month of October, the net operating income, $35,000 above budget. We keep beating budget on greens fees and cart rounds and so forth. Our cash is at $1.15 million. That's up there with, I think last month was a little bit higher, but this is all unprecedented with 2 years ago and before that. So and our cash balance is $175,000 higher than prior year. Now the one thing I will say is that, as Jim just said, bunker work is done, so there's going to be a really big check going out the door in the next couple of weeks, and at that point, mixed in with us being officially in off season, we're going to lose that $1 million status real quick in the next few weeks. So and I'll have the full financial statements out to everyone tomorrow. That's it for my report.
And
Questions for Mark?
Yeah, how's the audit report? Are we close to getting a final report?
I just spoke with Alan about it today. It's I don't know what the disconnect is. I don't know why it happens every year. I've gone up to the upper ranks to complain, and they said it'd be better. I sent a note out just yesterday because I said, wait a minute, it's been 3 weeks since I had any communication. And then the partner said, oh yeah, he basically sat on it for 3 weeks, and now he's getting it done and he's going for a second peer review. So it should be in the coming week at this point. But I just hate having to constantly knock on the door and say, where are we? Oh, I forgot. So as I told Alan, I'm very happy with them. For the actual audit, they do a fantastic job. They've been here now for 7 or 8 years, and they know what they're doing. It really is a great experience. Just this bottleneck of getting the final report. While we were done beginning of October, it should have been here at this point. So there's no excuse.
Okay.
Agreed. Any further questions for Mark?
They don't charge us, Mark, for that sitting around, do they?
No, we get an
We're
audit
not
fee.
on the clock, right?
They're
No,
not
no,
on
we get
fee-
one
not on
audit
fee
fee
and
quoted in an engagement letter at the beginning, and that's it, unless something unforeseeable comes to pass.
We should put a penalty clause in for the next one saying if every day late, you reduce it by 1%.
You're not the first
like
chairman to say that.
that.
It's a good idea.
Anyway, thank you, Mark. Last report under reports, our General Manager, James Holliday. Jim?
Thank you, Alan. Most importantly, as Gary has alluded to, we have signed an agreement with a company called NV5 to perform a property condition assessment. So Jim Shell and I are going to spend probably quite a few hours next Tuesday as that assessment begins. Mark and I had several meetings and spent quite a bit of time on our recommendation for proposed rates for 2026. The meetings for the tennis contract and head of golf operations have taken a significant amount of time. Very, very positive, very positive. Alan and I also met with the restaurant owners and had a great meeting relative to outings for 2026. We have some very interesting ideas. The employee outing was a big success. We had a lot of fun on the course. The employees wanted me to make a special thanks to the authority for authorizing us to close the course for the day. It really meant a lot so that everybody could play together. We didn't have to have staff on different parts of the day. And it really meant a lot to them. So I just wanted to mention that on their behalf, on our behalf, excuse me. And then finally, the HVAC business, which we're going to be speaking about shortly. We actually were scheduled to do the Pro Shop replacement effective Monday coming, November 24th. Unfortunately, the equipment has not arrived. I hope it won't be delayed too long. And hopefully, following this meeting, we will have authorization for Mark to write one of those big checks he was talking about tomorrow morning that I will deliver to Air Solutions Inc. in Stamford for the deposit for the dual system, which is in the ceiling of the kitchen, which provides cooling for the dining room. So that also was a big part of my month, and that's what I've got.
So Jim, thanks for setting me up for the next part of the meeting. Good job.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jim?
Jim, I just was curious if they do go ahead with that, we go ahead with that. In January, the work would be done about when? Do you have any idea? You said sometime in January.
Yeah, Rich, it is likely that the restaurant will close in the first 2 weeks of January. It hasn't been confirmed, but after the holiday with all the parties they will be having, I think it might be closing like January 2, January 3, in that range for a couple of weeks. I will let you all know on December 18th the exact dates.
Thanks.
So I think, as per Jim's report, I think the precedence of closing the golf course now to have every employee be able to partake in golf is a great idea and something we should do moving forward. It was obviously very well received, and we didn't lose a lot of income, I don't think either, so that is good. Okay, so that pretty much finishes the report part of our meeting. Next item is item number 6, which is old business. And I would like to add to the old business to bring up the item that we spoke about, which is the capital budget increase for this year, in that we did send out an item to you on November the 15th. Jim sent it out. And hopefully you all read it. Basically, we have 3 main HVAC units, one which we've already agreed to repair and replace, and that's being done. And then, of course, Murphy's Law, the other 2 went during, and it's the air conditioning part of it, and they do need to be replaced. We have got bids for it. And I don't know if you've all read all the information here. I don't want to read it out to you again. But the cost of both projects is $115,000. You know, our CapEx budget for this fiscal year is $344,000. And basically, you know, we will be over budget if we, you know, add this $110,000 to it, basically. So where can we look to save some money? We'd look at probably two areas. We did, if you remember when we wrote the budget, we wrote the capital budget, we said the cart paths were somewhat at risk. These would be the last things done if we had the money to do them. And I think we really have to, at this time, say we will not do the cart paths this year. But next year, we don't have any major projects planned. So we do have a lot more money to be available to be able to do something in the next fiscal year. We also have saved about there's a $70,000 savings there. We also, thanks to Jim Shell's good offices, we did save some money when we put the well in. There's a saving of $20,000. We thought it'd be 40, it only came in at 20. So we do have room in that. When we put everything together, because we did actually overspend a little bit on this year's capital budget, we put the roof on the halfway house, and we put screens on the patio, two really important. That cost us $17,000. By the time we put everything together and putting everything in the hopper, it will cost us to do this air conditioning project on a net basis. We'll have to increase our capital budget by $41,000. And the one thing that was also out there, we will still have $18,500 in contingency. Because we did budget 25, we spent 7, we'll have 18 in contingency, because I'm sure something else is going to happen between now and the end of the fiscal year. So I would like to propose that we would increase the capital budget by $41,500 or whatever it is, $42,000 to add to our capital budget. I'm not sure what the exact total would that. What would that take us to, Mark? Do we have an exact total number? Would that be 385? Mark?
Yeah, hold on.
Does
Yeah,
the current budget-
386. 386,000.
So to increase the capital budget from 344.5 to 386. Discussion.
Do you want to make a motion or before discussion?
I just well,
Is that your motion?
Yeah, the motion is to increase the capital budget from $344,500 to $386,000. Do I have a? I would propose that. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
I think it's a good idea. We need the air conditioners.
Yes.
It's pretty critical.
mean,
I can't see any way around not doing it. So thanks for making the adjustments in the budget. I think it's a very reasonable way to go.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had this coming down the road because the partial fix, you know, a couple of months ago, and that this was something that was going to be dealt with at some point.
And I think we do have the money, which is good. So I think I would like to take a vote, and I think I'll probably just call your names out just based upon the motion, Denise, yay
Yes.
or nay? Yeah. Gary Leeds,
Yes.
Jennifer McAllister,
Yes.
Mary Verrill,
Yes.
Richard Dellinger,
Yes.
Jim Shell. Sorry, not Jim
Can I
Shell.
add a vote?
TJ Trimboli.
Jim does-
Sorry, just promoted you, Jim. TJ Trimboli.
Yep.
Okay, Alan Dutton, yes. So we are unanimous in this. The motion is passed. Thank you all very much.
Can I just add one point? When you look at the budget, you know, we've always had the paving of the tennis court area and I guess the parking lot. So next year, if we do everything, the paths, the tennis and the parking lot, do we get some sort of discount for multiple jobs?
Well, Jim Shell can answer that, but my answer is yeah. Generally speaking, yes. That's why if we postpone it and we put a big number on the table, we'll get a better rate.
Okay.
I heard
Okay.
tennis. That's good.
Not true, Jim?
Um,
Right, Jim? You
heard
back me
tennis.
up on that?
Yeah, I mean, generally, the more you do, the less per square foot or whatever, you know,
Because they got all the equipment there and everything and,
right?
okay, all right. Well,
And
it
I
sounds
think
like-
the good news is that, you know, when we do that, we will have, you know, there's no major projects that are really scheduled. So we will have, you know, hopefully a substantial amount of, you know, we spent 300,000 this year. So we may have the ability to do the same again next year. So,
Yep.
hopefully.
Yeah, and we-
Sorry.
And we did have the HVAC in next year's budget, which now we just moving forward. So
Yeah. Exactly.
we're kind of just putting that in there and taking the paving out, so.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
next item on the agenda, actually, that's old business. Next item, new business, item number 7. As I said earlier, item A under new business, we're tabling the Oak Hill Tennis Contract Committee recommendations. We'll be coming back with a contract for review and vote at the December meeting. Item B is Pro Shop inventory, Paul's Pro Shop inventory. And this is not a voting issue. This is actually just an informational issue because the executive committee, Denise, Rich, and myself did stick our heads together. And, you know, we would like to basically buy all of Paul's stuff. So we did send out to you earlier on today, back a little bit of background and what the cost would be. So the background, I think most of you read it, but you know, there's 3 different types of things that Paul has left. There's the actual accessories, balls, gloves, and stuff like that. And these are things that, you know, we would sell between now and, you know, when the next pro comes in, and hopefully would just have the pro come in and, you know, take them off our hands and buy them from us. And that's item A. Item B is the logoed items, which we would buy, and it would make sense that the pro would take these because they're Oak Hill's logo, and these are at cost. You know, this is what it cost Paul. And item C is the other ancillary things, about $2,000 worth of those, which are not, you know, logoed items, but they're all golf related, jackets, and you know, I do have a list of all of them, and we believe for this amount of money, we should just take them off Paul's hands, send him a check for this amount of money, the $9,600, and move on from there. You know, we can hand it over to the pro, or we can do something else with item C. So that's what that program is. So are there any questions, any input on this? We okay with it?
Yeah, just, and so and I asked Mark earlier today, what was the retail value versus the cost, Mark?
Yep. Oh, I wrote it.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. It was 13,900,
It was
something around
about-
there.
Yeah,
It
it
was-
was around 13,000 or more than 13,000 was
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
Right. But the figures were calculated by Steve, you said, Shepherd?
Steve Shepard,
he-
basically the whole inventory. I have a whole inventory of every single thing. that
Yeah, he
is
wrote
there.
up the entire thing. He did a great, him and Hike, I got to call her out too. They did it together and they did a great job.
Right.
And it makes sense. This way people can buy the balls and tees and stuff like that. And it's going to be minimal, but it's good to have something available for people to buy.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So, you know, I think this is what we should do, and I think we're good with it. So I just wanted to let you guys know, unless there was any real groundswell against it, in which we would reconsider. But I think we're good to go.
So,
Thank you.
so we've shut down Paul's POS, and any merchandise we sell will just go through the regular process?
Correct,
Mark?
Gary. That's a good question. Yeah, it's moving to our store, OHPA, as opposed to Paul Alexander Golf. Steve has already set up SKUs for everything, and column A, or whatever you want to call it, package A has already been sold. We've been selling balls and tees already. So I'm going to have to go ahead and just create a new balance sheet item for account for
Okay.
merchandise inventory, and then a new sales and cost of sales lines as well. So I'm going to make it very easy. It's whatever we sell, it's just going to be one line on the P&L, merchandise. That's it. And we'll just book it one time per month for the next few months, and then hopefully, as Alan said, we just sell the remaining items to the new pro, and that's it. We're out of business in selling merchandise.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so new business, item C, the meat of the meeting today, if I may, which is our proposed rates for fiscal 2026. And Mark is going to make this presentation, but I'd just like to kind of make an opening statement, if I may, if you just bear with me. The process of this is basically we are not deciding, voting today. We are having a discussion on some proposed rates from the management team, some back and forth. We have information from other courses, and we have, what is on the table at this moment in time. When we look at proposed rates, there are really three areas that we look at. We look at, the memberships, the cards, including annual passes. We look at the green fees, and we look at what we pay to rent a car. So those are the three main components of what is involved in there. Jim Holiday very kindly gave us comparisons from 5 other clubs, 5 other like clubs, and they were sent out to you. So I'm sure you studied them profusely, as I did. And I actually did, and I wrote in what our rates are compared to them for the 5 courses. And I came up with some interesting things, which I'd just like to share with you. As far as member ID goes, what the actual becoming a member of Oak Hills compared to become a member of other clubs. We are 100% more than any other club. So just so we know, it costs, say, $140 to join Oak Hills. Current proposal will take it to $145. Ours is $140 at the moment. All the other clubs are $70 or less, 77. So we're 100% more for our to belong to Oak Hills. The greens fees are basically split between greens fees for members, who join, and greens fees for people who don't, out of towners and stuff like that. The out of towners, when we compare to other clubs, we're still a little more expensive, between $2 and $3 spread across adults and seniors and stuff like that. Where the big change is, we are about $7 to $8 more expensive on our green fees, weekends, weekdays, than any other course. Sterling Farms, we're a bit closer, but we're still $2 or $3 more. So we are much more expensive for, the actual greens fees. And then finally, cart fees, we are, the same as all the other clubs, basically. So that's just some background information, and I'll just start. Mark's going to present, and then we have a chance to talk about it. So, Mark, do you want to take us through it now?
Yes, thank you, Alan. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yep.
With
Okay.
our magnifying glasses, yes.
All right. So I'm gonna, this is all the information here, but I'm gonna scroll down and show you the differences, because that'll make it a little bit easier to talk about. And as you can see, there's no increase to any greens fee in any category, any member category. So, all right, let me go to my notes. So first of all, Jim and I met, had in-depth discussions. It's a little bit, unusual to do this without a golf pro attending, and he's the one that would know this stuff better than the two of us. So we thought was best. And we are suggesting modest increases for 2026, sorry. Due to, as Alan said, we're already, we're pretty much the highest priced golf course in the area. And we've done some pretty large increases in the last few years. So we decided to kind of really slow it down this year. So for discount ID card membership, which is on the left here, this section over here. If you look here, you see other than juniors, we're proposing $5 per each category of membership. Juniors we adjusted last year. We increased it by 30% because we hadn't increased them for years. So they're set for now. There's no need to increase them. The $5 increase, in total, we're looking at if we have the same exact ID card sales next year in the same exact categories as we've had for calendar year 2025, we're looking at a total increase, annual increase of $4,675. Not very much. And I know Alan was suggesting that we do not increase resident, adult, or seniors there at all. And that is the bulk of it. That's about $3,800. So if we just increase the non-resident members by $5, you're looking at a whopping amount of $845 in annual sales. So this is very minor, and I could go either way on this. I don't know about Jim, but it's no big deal. Moving on to the next section, greens fees. So here again, we're focusing on the non-members, the public, and non-members. 18-hole greens fees. We're at 17,000 rounds for this calendar year through the end of October. Okay, last year for the entire year, they were at 11,000 rounds. That's a huge difference. And we see it in, we talk about actual versus budget, but if you look at actual versus last year, we're down on rounds a little bit. And yet we're up on revenue quite a bit. And that is, it's the mix. And the mix is we have less members and therefore less membership rates and more public, which are paying at higher rates. So this is where the bulk of the revenue will come from. And that's where we're going to focus on. If we do this, we then are able to give our members, both resident and non-resident members, the ability to stay at a $0 increase for this year. And just to put a couple dollars to this, those 17,000 rounds translate to $960,000 in revenue for the first 10 months of this year. That's a huge percentage of our annual revenue. And what we're thinking is a $2 increase across the board there. Again, not juniors, and $1 increase for 9 holes, which that's about 3.7 thousand rounds this year, and that will translate to roughly $38,000 in additional revenue if we have the same exact round. So it's a nice number that we like. Next, I apologize. Let me slow down. Are there any questions on memberships or greens fees from what I said so far?
So I'd just like to make a quick statement. Basically, I would like to be able to say that the Oak Hills Park Authority is going to freeze all rates for both your membership and greens fees for Norwalk residents in the upcoming year. And by doing that, we reduce by $5 the membership fee for adults and for seniors. Is that right, Mark? Pretty much.
Yep.
That's what I'd like to say. That's the only change that I would look for personally. Carry on, Mark.
Okay.
I agree with Alan.
Okay, good. And that's what, again, Jim and I are just, it's a first draft. We welcome any feedback. We look forward to it. Sorry, Rich, go ahead.
Just one other thing about that. I like the idea of not having any increase with the residents across the board too. But I'm looking at the non-residents and I see the increase is basically 2%. And I'm just wondering if we wouldn't consider the non-resident going up from $5 to $10, and that would be about a 4% increase. And I think that's reasonable and would offset a little bit of the discount we're giving. So it's just my thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The next section is carts. Now, as everyone knows, we are exiting our existing cart lease. They should be coming in the next month, I think. I could be wrong there, but they're collecting all of the existing carts that we have. We're getting a new fleet, probably sometime in early March, maybe February. There is a significant increase in the annual expense for those carts. It has to do, again, we discussed this before, but the total increase per year is $22,849. Okay. Now, we've had over 26,000 cart rounds through October 31st of this calendar year. And last year we had 27,134, which I think we're going to probably beat slightly on cart rounds for this calendar year. So if you do the math, $1 increase easily covers the $22,849 dollar increase. I don't want to go $2. That's too much to do in 1 year. Going from $20 to $21, I think, is absolutely perfect. We cover our cost, and we make a few dollars at the end of the day. The last time we had increases, we did it in 2021 and 2022. We went up $1 and $1. We went from 18 to 19 and 19 to 20. So it'll be 4 years without doing any increases in cart fees. I think this is absolutely a solid number. That's the only thing on this that I will fight for. And lastly, annual passes. You know, we
Wait,
took.
before you get to that,
I'm
Mark.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think I don't know the other courses, but I think one of the advantage, and I've been on some other courses, they don't always have the GPS unit. Do we know if all these other courses have a GPS unit?
I have no idea. I don't know if either of the gyms can answer this.
Yeah, all of the courses to which we're preparing we're comparing ourselves have GPS units.
They do.
Perfect.
Okay. But I kind of agree. Well, all right. I agree on the increase because we got new carts, is where I am.
Yeah, I think basically, and we haven't raised them in 3 or 4 years. And we're the same as everybody else, cart-wise, Gary. If you take a look, maybe one of the, Smith Richard, one of the car, the Fairchild Wheeler, may be $1 cheaper, but we're definitely in the ballpark, and we could definitely justify going up $1 basically with brand new carts, I think,
Right. Okay.
Good.
Mark, I had one question.
Mhm.
For the cart fees, when you say Twilight cart, is that considered like 9 holes, or that's an evening price?
Yeah. Well, we only have, oh, I see. That change didn't go through. I apologize. It should really say off-peak, because we no longer have Twilight rounds. Last year we eliminated. See, I fixed it up top. I didn't fix it down below. Apologies for that.
Let me jump in for 1 second.
Yeah,
Mark.
please.
Denise, just in theory, yes, you're correct. So twilight rates means that at a time at which when you tee off in the afternoon, you cannot play 18 holes. You can't get them in because it gets dark. So that's what it refers to.
So it's somewhere between a 9 and 18 hole game.
That's about right. Yep.
So
Yep.
you
Good way to
could
look
end
at
up playing 10 or 12 holes, and so it's all right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It looks like, and there's a $2 difference in it. So it's just $2 more than a 9 hole.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and lastly, the last section we're looking at is annual passes. Last year we took away the early reservation booking. We basically break even with these. I didn't do it this year, but I've done an in-depth analysis each year by person, by round, everything, and I constantly get to the point where we basically make a few dollars more than if we didn't have them. And something like this is generally given at a discount anyway. So to me, if we're breaking even, that's making more than we should. So for Jim and I, we decided. Oh, sorry, and it also keeps a core group of golfers very happy. So minimal increases here. Again, leaving juniors alone, and you can see the dollars right there, just kind of rounding it up to the next bit.
Yeah, Mark, I got to ask you to do the analysis, though. You got to have that.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we made that change, I'm interested to find out the people who took it, were they satisfied and did they play as many rounds, or did we have more people who played beyond the break-even point, or what here? I thought that was a very good analysis you did last year, and you were absolutely right. We had a bunch of people who took this unlimited, and effectively, it was pretty close to break even, because we had some who were very heavy users and some who were not so heavy users. So I think you need to do that analysis. Sorry.
Well, there goes my plans for solitaire tomorrow. No problem, Gary. I should be able to do it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, early
Oh.
next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I
Well,
mean, you
we do have time because, as I said, there's, we won't be voting on this until a month's time, but
Yeah.
we do have to actually maybe quicker because we do need to publish this. When I say publish it, we have to, once, if this is going to be a proposal, it then goes, we put a notice in the paper. We have to copy, has to be in the pro shop, and I'm not sure if it goes on our website or not. I have to look and see to give
It goes on the website in the pro shop, and I put a notice in the hour.
yeah.
and how far in advance of our vote does it have to be?
It has to,
2 weeks or what?
it's I put it in the hour. Again, I don't actually, I only put a notice of it. I don't put the actual rates, but I notify everyone that the rates are available on our website, and that goes in on the Sunday, a week and a half before our Thursday meeting. So it's
So
roughly
let me ask you a
11
question,
days.
Gary. What would make us want to change this in what it is now, basically? If we're going to lose a tremendous amount of money on this, is that the reason why we
Yeah, I
we would
think,
change it?
yeah, let's say, I mean, I'm just gonna pick a number and say, we lost $100,000 on these people if they'd been playing straight rates.
S-
I mean, based
what's-
on the
what's
last,
the realistic
Yeah.
thing here?
No, well, let me turn it back at you.
Well, not
if
me.
thi- Yeah, I'm just saying, at what dollar point would you reconsider what these rates were compared to what the standard rates were? At what
Right.
point is your break point that you say, maybe the unlimited doesn't work?
Yeah, I guess we would need to see that. But then how do we know that people are going to play? Yeah, I guess there's a lot involved in it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, do you want to be standing up in front of the finance committee and somebody asked you the question and said, how'd the unlimited go? And you don't have the answer?
well, I could say, but I know how many members we have. Yes, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
We've got 50
Well, did
members
you break
and I have
even with
52.
that or did you lose a lot of money?
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Can you just explain? I didn't have this on when I printed it out. This was cut off. What this annual pass with the 7-day pass, is this a week pass? Can you explain what this means?
so the unlimited annual pass is you pay upfront one price and then you
I got
golf.
it. I see the numbers now. I didn't see these big numbers. I got it.
Oh yeah, I just moved it up so that below
Okay,
I was just
fine.
showing the increases.
Somehow I didn't
This
have the
is so
sheet. Yep. All right.
Okay.
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 Thanks.
Okay, any other questions on or any input? Anybody disagree with not increasing daily rates for members? Anything?
So going back to what Gary just said. So Gary, are you trying to say that you think that the unlimited pass is not worth the unlimited cost and compared to what regular golfers coming out to pay would be? Is that what you're saying or what you're thinking?
I'm thinking Mark did a wonderful analysis last year when we analyzed the unlimited, and essentially we had a very nice bell curve and we weren't losing a lot of money or we were relatively close to break even. I'm concerned that we get a group of people in here and we don't have a good bell curve and we are losing a lot of money.
What
So-
is a bell curve? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, just where you have people who played few rounds and we had people who played a lot of rounds. And then we had people who played, somewhere in between. But without doing an analysis, we don't know, whether we make money on unlimited, lose very little money, or lose a ton of money you know, on it. So that's the only thing. And Mark, you know, like, I guess the last couple of years you've done analysis and it's been, you know.
I've done it all. I did it for 2020 through 2024. I chose
Yeah.
not to do it because I felt like, all right, it's every year I kind of come to the same conclusion where, other than 1 year, I think 1 year, 2023, we I don't know why people weren't playing who bought the pass, and we
Yeah.
clearly made out by selling these. We were definitely farther ahead than we would have been. But every other year, I think it would be the same thing this year, Gary. But you're right. There's absolutely no way I can quantify that without doing the full analysis. It would just be
Yeah.
a guess on my behalf. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we need the answer to that question.
Okay.
And it's
Mark,
be and
Mark, what's your sense if we go with no increase for the residents, non-residents, for the ID and would compensate and raise the non-resident to $10 each? I mean, how much money would that? How would it affect the finances? Can you?
Very minimally. We would go from an $845 increase to about $1,690. It's that simple.
So you're talking, so Rich, you'd be talking about an $800 increase if you did that, because there's probably not that many.
Not that many. Yeah, I looked at the numbers. There's not that many non-residents.
Yeah.
But let's be completely clear about that. And Rich's question, he had two parts there. He said, what happens if we take off the $5 pass, $5 on the pass, and that would be somewhere in the area of $840, correct, Mark?
Yes.
But the second part of the question Rich asked was, and raising the non-resident rates $5 for greens fees?
no.
Oh,
No,
no.
not greens fees, Jim, not greens fees.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry about that. My bad. Over and out.
I think he was saying what Alan's suggesting, we remove the $5 increase from residents and we just increase non-residents, but instead of $5, we do $10.
That was
So-
my suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
We could choose to do that. We could choose to not do that. I am open either way.
So I guess, Rich, my question is the angst of raising something $10 for non-residents worth the $800 that we would get if they all did it? And would there be some drop off? I don't know.
There's no increase on what they're paying for the course. So, and most of the non-residents, I just think it's, I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about it, Rich. Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, and I go, if it's not a lot of money, I'm fine with it. I just think in a way, it kind of, I think the non-residents can afford to pay the extra little bit, and I like the idea of the residents not having a raise. I do like that, so it offsets a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Is that
Going to-
something that
going
we
to-
or
yeah.
don't see in the other courses? Do they favor their residents more than their non-residents in price increases in other courses?
Yes, they favor their residents, most certainly.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just asking the question.
I think in other courses, there aren't a lot, I'm not even sure it's offered in a lot of courses, a non-resident pass where they get a discount, or it's very, very limited. I think Richter has about 40, you know, that's all. I don't know what Sterling has, but I think a member type pass is very limited in these other courses.
You mean for non-resident people?
Yeah.
Yeah, some places don't offer it. You're right, Gary. A couple of courses don't offer it.
Yeah, and you can see at Sterling, theirs is $350 for non-resident.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's more to that because that's a frequent player pass. So that's with more rounds, their discount is, you know, it's based on the additional rounds that they play. But as Alan points out, a lot of them don't do it. Richardson doesn't do it.
Right.
So
I don't have any problem raising it $10.
Brennan doesn't do it. The Griff doesn't do it. Tashua doesn't do it.
I think it just sends a message. I like the message to the residents that we're giving them the break and trying to make up a little bit with non-residents.
I think it's fine, Rich. I can support that. Let's pop it up $10, Mark, unless anybody's really against it. It's showing us here again, we want to take care of our residents more than our non-residents and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I like that message.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll reconvene with Jim and we'll go over this. So what I'm hearing is no change in resident, adult or senior discount cards. Make a $10 increase instead of $5 for non-resident adult and senior discount card. No other adjustments to cards, annual passes, daily fees. What you see here is
annual passes. I think what we need to do, Mark, once you've done your information, okay, I think we should send that out to the authority, just to take a look at it and to see where we stand, because as Gary says, if it's drastic and we're losing, if it's where we are, then we could probably, do something, once we've got the information.
Yeah, and the other thing we might want to not increase the resident unlimited.
Right.
So,
Well, we still got an opportunity, guys, because we're
right. Okay.
we're going to vote. This is just
All
a
right.
proposal, basically.
Got it.
So,
I think
good.
it's good
Okay.
Thank you, Gary. I think that's a good suggestion. I like your idea.
Yeah.
okay. Once I get done with my analysis, I'll send it out to the entire authority, as well as Jim, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Does
Thank you, Mark.
any of your
Thank you.
authority member have any input they'd like to have on this proposal we put forward so far?
Well, I've never seen Mark get so adamant about the cart fees. It's one of
I was ready to go to bat.
yeah, I don't want to fight with Mark.
Okay.
We got brand new carts out there, so we need.
Yeah, I'm okay with everything, because if they're brand new carts, yeah, there should be a bit of an increase there. And
again, it's been 4 years since we had any increase. This is
Exactly.
it's part of doing
Exactly.
business.
Yep.
Everything
Yeah.
else is going up as well. The maintenance on the cards, the electricity, all these things all add up.
yep, and I'm happy to see that we're taking care of the residents of Norwalk. So
Perfect.
that just makes me happy.
Alex Knopp will be happy too.
And Jen, if you're happy, I'm happy. All right? Okay. I think we can close item C under new business and move to item 8, which is adjournment. I'd like to thank everybody for their input for this particular meeting. I thought it went quite quickly. Obviously, we'll see what happens at our next meeting. So could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I'll make a motion.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Can I have a second? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Believe
And
the
happy
motion is
Thanksgiving.
carried. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you
Happy
all,
Thanksgiving,
everybody.
everyone.
Okay.
care.
Keep in touch. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.